One.
Hello,
Everyone.
Welcome to the Woman's Cave. That's going to be moving to Zoom.
Yes, we're moving to Zoom on September the 12th, possibly 13th, maybe 13th.
Yeah, probably the 13th, because you know how we are, you guys. We're going to be like, oh, we're going to 13th happens.
Yeah, pretty much.
But anyway, I'm Jade.
And I'm Winona.
And we are the authors of this wonderful book series, the And I Thought series. And I thought divorce was bad, and I thought being grown up was easy, and I thought we could juggle it all. You guys, we need some positive energy. We need some like good wishes, because we are going to really try to put our book in for, actually our PR person wants to put our book in for the NAACP Image Awards. So you guys, we need some positive energy.
Oh, yeah, we need more than positive energy. We need super positive energy, but that's okay. And the Maven PR press, thank you. We promise we will shout you out. Voila. Maven PR group. That's how that goes.
Wow, Winona.
I mess up everything. I'm so sorry. All right, so we did this, right?
Yes, we did this, and literally we have one of the best guests, because remember we told you we did the summit, which we're still kind of freaking out about, because somebody gave us our important job. Like, it's silly, but someone gave us an important job, and we met this wonderful guest, Miss Morel, and we're just so excited that she was even deemed to come on our show.
Before we officially introduce her, I just want to put in one last thing here, you guys. We tricked someone into believing that we were professional.
We tricked someone. Wow, yes. That's hilarious.
That's why we need superpower prayers.
Yes, we do.
And then whatever else you can throw our way.
Whatever else you got.
All right. Now, Miss Moreo, would you like to introduce yourself?
I would. Thank you. And by the way, you were both very professional on that summit. I loved my interview with you. You were great.
Oh, thank you.
My name is Judy Moreo, of course. And I am the author of a book entitled You Are More Than Enough, Every Woman's Guide to Purpose, Passion, and Power. I have also written other books, but this one is my pride and joy. And the reason I wrote it is because I'm a professional speaker, and I've been traveling around the world for 40 years, before you guys were born even. And I've had audiences of women anywhere from 50 people to 3,000 people. And I kept asking the question, did you ever feel like you needed to be something more? And everybody, like 3/4 of the audience said, yes, I felt like I should have been something more than I am. And I found that women are underestimating themselves and overestimating everybody else. And so I wrote the You Are More Than Enough book, so people would realize that they really are more than enough, that they have to believe in themselves. They have to have confidence in themselves. And so that was the beginning of well, it wasn't really the beginning, I guess, because way back when I started a finishing school and model agency, and I had that for quite a long time, very, very successful in Las Vegas, Nevada. So I had a successful business, and then because people kept asking me to speak, I would go out and talk to people about their self-confidence and about the way they look and about branding themselves. And then one day somebody said, well, would you speak about how you started your business and how you got to be successful? So then I started speaking about that, and the next thing I knew, I was traveling all over the world talking about it, and it's been awesome. In fact, next week I'm going to New Mexico to film the Creative Living Show, which is a PBS show, and it shows in 36 states and 6 countries. And so I'm going down there to film that with Cheryl Borden. She's the hostess of that show. And then a couple people from Eastern New Mexico University found out I was coming down and called, and I ended up with 3 speaking engagements on the same trip. So I love what I do because it's fun, and I meet interesting and exciting people, and I love speaking, and I love sharing the things I've learned over all these years of being in business for myself.
That is so awesome. I can't believe that we actually fooled her into thinking we're professional. First and foremost.
That's the first thing you get from that?
No. Obviously, I was in awe.
You didn't fool me. You were excellent. We had such a fun interview. Didn't you think it was a fun interview?
Oh, absolutely. Amazing.
And I was just awestruck by, I was reading your website before we even interviewed you, and you started a business with $2,000, and people said that you couldn't do it. And yet here you are, we're going to just say 10 years later. 10 years later.
of years later. I actually sold that business. The one I started with $2,000, I sold that 17 years later for a lot of cash. I mean, I did very well on that one. And then I did a national TV show, and I did some infomercials. And then I went off to South Africa and lived in South Africa during the end of apartheid, and worked there, and then started the business I have now. I actually started in South Africa, and so we did it in South Africa for about 6 years, and then we moved it back to America, and here we are all these years later. And this one has been going on about 18 years now. So yeah.
Okay, so altogether you are 35 years old.
Yes,
Wow.
exactly. Mm-hmm.
Okay, just checking. 17 plus 18 is 35, and you started young.
You did a lot in 35 years. Let me just tell you.
Yeah.
I know, like, I think what she mentioned was that you started a business off of $2,000, and a lot of people, when they have $2,000, can I just say real quickly about me? I normally start mine with 20, but anyway, when you said you had $2,000 to start a business, anybody in the right mind goes, well, that's not enough money, and I don't have enough skills, and or was it because you were only like 4 by the time you started that you were just like, all the naysayers, goodbye?
Well, I was in my early 20s when I started with that $2,000. But what happens is sometimes other people really discourage us, and I had a lot of people telling me that too. I had people saying, you can't start your business with no money, but I knew that what I was doing was working, and I was working at something I loved, and I thought, why am I doing this for someone else? I kept bringing in business for someone else, and I thought I should do this for myself. And so all I had was $2,000, and at that time it was a lot of money to me. I saved it up, and I went out and I rented my office, and luckily I rented from a landlord who believed in me. And so I said to my landlord, the second month, I said, I don't have any money. They got a strike going on here in Las Vegas, and nobody's hiring models, and nobody's sending their kids to modeling school. But I know I can make it if there's anything we can do. And of course, you two have heard this story before. He said, well, if you can hang in there 6 months, he said, I can win a bet. And what's that? He said, well, I bet the guy next door you'd make it, and the guy next door bet me you wouldn't. And he said, if you can hang in there, we'll make enough money on the bet that we can pay your rent. And it turned out that I ended up staying in his building for many, many years, and we were great friends. And if he hadn't believed in me in those early days, I might have had to give up. But he said, don't worry about it. And sure enough, he did win his bet, because I not only hung in there for 6 years, I hung in there for 21 years before I sold the business. And for 6 months, but I hung in there for 21 years. So very, very good life, very exciting. Owning a model agency in Las Vegas during that period of time was incredible, because we didn't have any convention business in Las Vegas at that time. So I went with the newly formed convention center, and we traveled all over the world practically, talking people into bringing their conventions to Las Vegas. And when they did, then they hired all their people from me to work the conventions, the part-time people that work the information booths and work in the various booths in the trade shows and so on. So they hired their people from me, and of course that paid off big time, because we became a very, very large convention service company, and I ended up with right about 1,000 part-time employees and 17 full-time employees, and that's when I sold that business. Later on, I sold that business for cash.
I was so hoping you would tell that story. I'm like, how do I get to that story?
I didn't hear the question.
I was like, how do I get to that story? And you told it, so I'm so happy.
Because it was one of the best stories. And I remember when I finished interviewing you, and my father, he's an awesome man, he took me out to dinner because he was so proud. He took Winona too, because she's my best friend. So he's like, come on down, and we're going to go out to dinner, because I'm proud of you guys, of all the stuff that you're doing. And we went on out to dinner, and I told him, oh my goodness, we met one of the most fantastic women ever. And here's the renting story, and he was dying laughing. He thought it was absolutely hilarious. But I know Winona can relate to your modeling thing. She was a promo model, actually still is, for many, many, many years.
I can tell.
I'm too fat. They told me that, so I'm out. say that because like my agency, the former agency, will never hire me back now.
Well, you're both beautiful girls, so anybody should want you.
Oh my goodness! But I know when you were finishing up the promo, were you saying anything else?
Oh yeah,
I'm being courteous today, you guys. Notice.
Yes, because she never lets me finish a statement, which is, I guess, something that only you and your best friend can ever do. So you were saying about the promo model, and then you went to South Africa and you did a newspaper there for many years. And then you had come back and now you're doing Choices. And I wanted to talk more about what Choices is. I know we talked about it a little bit on the summit, but I was very interested in what Choices was and what it brings to people.
Great, thank you. Well, I started writing a book about life choices. And as I was writing the book, I got to thinking, well, why am I writing this book? Because I'm writing about other people. I'm writing their stories. And so then what happened was I decided that these people should write their own stories. And so I got a hold of them and I said, why don't you write your own stories and I'll put together an analogy. What's the word?
Anthology.
Anthology, there we go. And so I put together this anthology. Can you see this? This was the very first Life Choices book. And it has stories of 26 people in it. And they were people that I admired and I knew they'd gotten through some, tough times. So I wrote this book. And then the book was so successful, people said, oh, well, should you do that? So then I wrote the second Life Choices book. I actually got other people to write, but I wrote a story in it as well. And it's called, the first one is called Life Choices Navigating Difficult Paths. And the second one was Life Choices Putting the Pieces Together. And these are stories, amazing stories of people who've been through really tough times and how they pulled their lives together. People who had it much rougher than I did. I just didn't have any money. These people had a lot of abuse and a lot of problems in their lives. And then we decided, well, we better do a Life Choices book that's more positive. And these were positive because they overcame their challenges, but what could we do if we wrote something really positive? So we did Life Choices Pursuing Your Passion. So that is all about how to go after what it is you really, really want in life. And that one worked out real good. And then we did the next one called Life Choices It's Never Too Late. And this is for people who think, well, maybe I missed it. Maybe I didn't do in life what I should have done or could have done or would have done if only things had been different. So we wrote Life Choices, It's Never Too Late. Well, these books did pretty well in the marketplace, and then people kept saying, well, we want more, and we want to hear from the same authors. So that's when I put together the Choices magazine. And so Choices magazine is an online magazine. It's at choicesonlinemedia.com, and we've had it, actually, this is the 4th year that we've been doing Choices magazine. And it's all positive mental attitude stories. It's people like me or like you or like anyone out there who would like to write a story about their life, if they've had something that they've had to overcome, or they have a belief or in something that they want to share with someone. And so I theme out the magazine every single time it comes out. It's got a different theme. Like this next one that's coming out this week, as a matter of fact, this coming week, is on attitude. The whole magazine is about attitude. Every article in it is about attitude. But interesting that the writers come from totally different perspectives on attitude. And so therefore it's going to be a great one, this particular one. And anybody that wants to get the magazine, they can just go to my website, judymoreo.com, JUDIMOREO.com. And they can sign up for it, and then we send it free of charge, to people. And up until the last 2 issues, we have somebody else's picture on the cover. Prior to that, I was on every cover because I was in my ego mode where I thought I wanted to be Oprah Winfrey and be on the cover of every one of them. And then one of the ladies that I was writing about, she had this incredible story. Amy Kardashian, she wrote a book called Tears of Hope, and it's about her life where she grew up in the Lebanese war, and she only had a 4th grade education, and she's dyslexic. And Amy has become a very, very successful businesswoman, writer, author, and she's now the director and producer of my new television show. And so I was doing the interview on her, and she said, I've never been on the cover of a magazine. I'd love to be on the cover of a magazine. And I said, well, I know how we can make that happen. We'll just put you on the cover of this one. And I don't know, it just came out of my mouth. And then I put her on the cover, and then I kept thinking, well, wait a minute, this doesn't look right. It doesn't have my picture on the cover. It was supposed to have my picture. But it was really interesting because people noticed, and they started writing me and saying, hey, what happened? And I said, I just felt like this person, she said she'd like to be on the cover of a magazine. And I felt like, well, why not make her dream come true? We stuck her on the cover. And she loves it. You should see. She shows it to everybody. She's got it on her TV show. She carries it around with her. So I'm getting lots of publicity for the magazine. And then this month we put another young lady. Her name is Stephanie Thompson. She'll be on the cover coming out this coming week. And really cute girl. Very, very different look. Really fun. And it's all about her new television show, which is about reviewing movies. She's a movie buff. So that's Choices Magazine, and it's fabulous. And now we're just getting ready to launch the Choices podcast. So I'll be interviewing you guys before long. And,
well, if you want to put us on the cover, we will. So wait.
You'll be happy to be on the cover.
No, I'm not gonna lie. It wouldn't be the two of us we really want on the cover. We would love to have, if we could, we would love to have Scarlett Black, because she's helped women who are abused for 30 years. She's helped them.
Escape, literally draw out the plan. She's part of our group. She's the one that kind of grounds us a lot. She's the 60-ish year old person, but she's the one that helps us ground us a lot. And literally, she's our counselor. She's our friend. I mean, our rock.
For me, she's my temporary mom, because I just lost mine in May. So
I'm so sorry, but you know what? I'll get her information, and let's just see what we can do. That would be wonderful.
Goodness, now I'm a little jealous.
No, I'm not jealous at all. I'm excited for Scarlett.
Yeah,
because she deserves it. She has literally hid people in her house, like literally from their abusive relationship. So I'm all about Scarlett being able to have some recognition for all she has done. I'm about that.
There's so many wonderful people in this world that don't get the recognition that they deserve. And that's one of the things with Choices is I like to do interviews with people. The interviews are always wonderful that we have in the magazine. And you find out things about people you just had no idea. Absolutely no idea. I did an interview one month with Lynette Chappelle. She was the star. She was the evil queen in the Beyond Belief show here in Las Vegas with Siegfried and Roy. And she wrote in one of the Life Choices books about the night of that accident, when the tiger thought he was saving Roy's life and tried to bring him off of the stage, when it was really bad. She wrote about it in one of the Life Choices books. And so I did a story on her, and I was absolutely fascinated that here she was born in Mombasa, Kenya, and she was in the Royal Ballet in London before she came to Las Vegas to be in a show here, and then ended up with Siegfried and Roy for 35 years, so as their assistant and star of their show. And it was just an incredible interview, so I think when people read Choices Magazine, they're going to be fascinated at the people we get from all different walks of life. Like this lady you're recommending, she'll be totally different from anyone we've had in the magazine before. So that would be a real coup for us to have somebody that exciting in the magazine and to know about her.
That would be cool.
Scarlett would be so shocked.
But we're not here to talk about Scarlett or anybody else on our group.
Oh my goodness. Well, no.
I'm literally trying, audience, to not be narcissistic. By the way, we see you viewers, so thank you.
Thank you for coming.
But I'm trying not to be narcissistic. If I learn anything from the summit, it's about the person and not about me.
That's the model in here coming out. But anyway,
can you tell us more about your book and the television show? You mentioned it like 4 or 5 times, but you have not said the name of it.
My book, You're More Than Enough, this one, or the TV
show? Both. Plug for yourself.
Yes, we're about that.
This is my book, You Are More Than Enough, and it's done very, very, very well. It really is almost a complete self-improvement program, because it starts talking about what we believe about ourselves, and then we go through all the things that we can do to make ourselves the best that we can be. And the last chapter is on spirituality. You know, do we believe in something bigger than we are? And then it's leading to the new book that I'm working on right now, that when I got into that spirituality chapter, I started to realize that we are so much more than we know. We go through life, and it's almost like every day we keep discovering something else about ourselves, and we don't realize the potential and the abilities that we have. So the new book is entitled You Are More Than You Think You Are, and that'll be coming out before the end of the year. So it's self-improvement. This one is self-improvement. You are more than enough for women. And then the You Are More Than You Think You Are is for men and women both, because a lot of men have read you are more than enough, and they said, wait a minute, you know, how come this is just for women? I needed this. And when I did the audiobook, the guy that recorded the audiobook, he said at the end of the recording, he said, why didn't you write that for men too? He said, you know, if I'd have had this information 20 years ago, I'd have been a lot more successful than I am. So that's why I decided the new book has got to be for men and women both. And then
Absolutely. Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. Yes.
all right, who's talking?
Oh no, I didn't mean to cut you off, because I was gonna just say I thought that went hand in hand with your journal that you talked about also in the summit.
And here's the journal. It's a beautiful blue leather journal with gold writing on it. And this journal is a complete self-improvement program. If you do this journal, if you write in it and work it like I've designed it, you can't help but be successful. The journal is really amazing because it has a place for you to put the pictures of your goals in all the 8 different areas of your life. It has a place for you to write your goals, but it also has a place, you know, see, there's places for writing. I don't know. Can you see this?
Yes.
Yeah, there's places for you to write in here every day. And all I want you to write every day is the one thing you did that day toward the achievement of your goal. And then you'll see that every 21 days, I have a place in here. Well, where is it? I got to find it for you here. Yeah,
so while she finds it, I'm going to just say quickly, for all our radio people, that means you actually have to go out and buy the journal to see what she's talking about. Okay.
Take it away.
And here it is. Can you see? It's just every 21 days, this is the way that you can actually judge how well you're doing. You actually mark how well you're doing in each of the 8 areas of your life. And then there's a way to tell if you're on track and if you're achieving your goals or not. And it's got all kinds of other things in it. But in the back, you'll see, this is my favorite thing. I had them put in these peel and stick gold stars. Can you see the gold star? There's peel and stick gold stars. So that as you go along, you see if something is you've done well during the day, then you peel one of these gold stars, depending on the size and shape gold star you want, and you stick it on a page in the journal. You stick it by what you did, and you say, oh, I did that, and I get a gold star for it. And then your little inner voice goes, oh, yeah, good. I'm doing good. I'm a good kid, and I made it work, and my life is working. And so I get a little carried away with my gold stars, but I like them. But the journal actually, if you just will work it, you can't believe how successful you can be. And this was what I did when I started my business. I put together this. This took me 25 years to get this journal exactly right, the way I wanted it, because I wanted it where people can make sure that whatever it is they want to achieve in life, they can achieve it. So if they write down what they want, and then every single day they write down one thing that they did that day toward the achievement of their goal. Can you imagine at the end of the year, if you've done 365 things toward the achievement of your goal, don't you think you would achieve it?
Yes, I agree. I believe. I'm so sorry. I said I promise, but I'm gonna have to renege on my promise. I was gonna say I believe like and then I thought being grown up is easy. It was saying the same thing, kind of, sorta. We didn't go all expand like that, but it was when I wrote this. It was like it says, your life goals isn't plans. It's decisions you make daily. So if you make a decision that's going to get you closer to your goal every day, well then obviously you're going to be a ton closer to succeeding with that goal. Exactly.
And I got your book yesterday. I I thought divorce was bad, and I thought being grown up was easy, and I can't wait to get into them and get reading them. I'm so excited that they're here, and I'm going to review them on my show. My new television show starts in November, and it is called The World of Books Review, and it will be on, it will actually be on internet television. So it will be coming out of Las Vegas, WCOBM, and then we will be archiving it on akexperts.com, so people will be able to go back and see the shows at any time. Right now, I'm a regular guest on AK Experts, and then she said, well, don't you want your own show? And I went, well, yeah, I guess I do. So, so Amy Kardashian, that's the AK. Amy is the director and producer of my show, and she said, we just want to talk about wonderful books, you know, let people know wonderful books are out there. So I've got you on the schedule for either November or December. So as soon as I get them read and get them up, I'll be reviewing your books. Won't that be fun?
Oh, that would be absolutely wonderful. So hopefully you don't hate them, and like, please, you don't ever pick them up. They're trash. Hopefully that's not what you're gonna say.
I would never say that. I would never say that. I only talk about the books I love. If I got a book and I didn't like it, I would just write the person and say, thank you very much. I'm not going to review this, because I think that's terrible to say bad things about people's product. You know, we all do the best we can. That's the thing. And when you write a book, you're doing the best you can, and you're trying to share your knowledge with other people and help other people have a really, really good life. And you just, you know, you just don't deserve to have somebody say, oh, well, you made an effort and it stunk, you know. So I won't do that to someone. I absolutely will not.
Thank you. We were literally kind of sort of joking about that.
We were joking, but I thank you for everyone out there that maybe would try, because we have lots of viewers today. Apparently they love you.
Your books are good. I wasn't talking about you guys. Your books are good. You write well. You write kind of like I do. You write like you talk, and that's kind of exciting. Yeah.
Yeah. I was going to make a comparison, but you know something, once again, I said I learned from the summit. By the way, it's the Virtual Woman Success Summit.
The Women's Virtual Success Summit. Will Nona.
I did that too. I did that too several times. I told people a virtual woman, and then I realized, no, it's the woman's virtual. You know, it took me a little while to get it right, but you know what? Either way, people are going to go there and they're going to get some great information.
Yes. So you guys out there, if you
wait, before she leaves, one thing.
I wanted to say for you guys out there, remember to go to the womensvirtualsuccesssummit.com, and you'll see us interviewing this lovely lady that we have with us today. I mean, and also just a whole bunch of other stuff. But I'm still in awe, and I just enjoyed having this interview with you, and our interview that we had on the summit. And I know Winona has something to say because I was saying something. So go ahead, Winona.
Oh, thank you. Segue for me. I feel special today. Anyway, I was going to say, before you leave it, I know like we are like 15 minutes over time, but I don't really care. Sorry, viewers. I was going to say that, can you just share the Nelson Mandela story? Because it's in the thing. It's actually in the description of this. And that was the coolest, mind-blowing story. It was like...
Yes, when I was working at the newspaper in South Africa, we had events where we honored women that had been doing outstanding things in their community. And at that time in South Africa, a lot of the communities had lost a lot of adults to the AIDS virus. And so there were women who were raising the whole community of children. You know, there would be 35 children, and one woman would be, bless her heart, you know, making sure that these kids had food and clothes and whatever. So we would have these events at the newspaper to honor these outstanding women. And so one night we were having one of these events, and I was sitting at this table with these people, and the elderly gentleman that was sitting there was so engrossed in watching what was going on and in honoring these people. And then these little tiny girls were doing a ballet dance to entertain, and they just kind of fell down and bumped into each other, you know, like little girls do when they're 2 years old or 3 years old, and they were up there dancing. And then when they finished, this elderly gentleman got up and he walked up and he put his hand out and he shook each of the little girls' hands and he said, "I want to thank you for dancing for me, and my name is Nelson Mandela." And it was just incredible because, you know, when he stood to his feet, of course, everybody in the room stood to their feet to give these little girls a standing ovation. And I was watching this and thinking, you know, how incredible that would be to grow up knowing that Nelson Mandela had watched you dance and had come up and shook your hand and said who he was. And during that evening, I had the opportunity to ask him, you know, about the 27 years he spent in prison and how he felt about that. And he said that he had always visualized that he would walk free. You know, because I wondered how can you go through 27 years in prison and not feel bitter and angry, and he said he always envisioned that he would walk free. And he said where the people that imprisoned them made the mistake was they didn't separate them. When they put the group into the prison, they left them together. So because they had their friendships, you know, they were able to support each other through that tough time, and that they always saw in their minds that they would walk free. And one day they did. And I was fortunate enough to get to be there in Cape Town when that happened, to get to see that. And then to meet him in person was like, it was like, well, you can't even imagine the feeling of meeting such an incredible man, because he wasn't just a leader of his country. I mean, this is a person who was a leader of men, of all mankind, who made a major difference in the world, and to just be in his presence. And he was so humble and so nice, and he made you feel like you were the most important person in the world. And I figured if he could imagine himself walking out of prison after being in there 27 years, think what you and I can do. Think what we can do if we just visualize our goals. If we just, you know, work in our goal achievement journal, you know, we just get this out and we write every day what we did that day to accomplish what we want to. I mean, we can't help but be successful. I think he's the only person in the world who could have brought that country through that time and still had peace and not had it be a bloodbath. I mean, it is amazing that this man did this incredible feat, something that probably no one else in the world has done in centuries and centuries and centuries.
It's so wonderful.
And it's
so wonderful.
It is amazing
that I get to interview somebody that knew Nelson Mandela.
I know, right?
Well, I didn't really know.
On our silly show.
On our silly show.
Oh, your show's wonderful. I've so enjoyed being on. Thank you for having me.
Yes. Thank you so much. So thank you for segueing. You're going to be such a natural in November. I'm so looking forward to watching it. And I'm already like going to download the book on Audible. Bet you're better. Help.
You're more than enough.
You're more than enough. No, really? You're just going to leave me there.
I'm going to leave you hanging. Just one time. Just one time. But no, also, can you just tell our audience where they can find you? Facebook, Twitter.
They can find me on Facebook, on Twitter, on LinkedIn. They can also find me on judymorio.com, choicesonlinemedia.com, youaremorethanenough.com, lifechoicesbooks.com. You can find me. I'm all over.
Really, you just type in this lady's name and she pops up, and it's like she's a movie star at this point.
She is a movie star in her own right. I mean, if you think about it, she's been inspiring women for all these years. We're not going to say how many because, you know, she's like only 45 or younger.
I was going to
38. I'm sorry.
I don't mind people knowing how old I am because, you know, I've had this wonderful life. And I'm just going to say it. I'm 72 years old.
Wow. Okay. You really don't even look 72. Like I really.
That's what. Wow. I was thinking 50.
I was. Oh my word.
Okay. So when we get off of here, we're swapping beauty secrets.
Yeah, we are.
Because there's some stuff that I need to fit.
Yes, but so we're gonna bring this to the end. We're going to bring this to the end. All right. So we are Jade and Wilnona of the And I Thought Ladies, actually the founders of the And I Thought Ladies. And we wrote a book series with the lovely ladies that we
There's 11 of them.
Yeah. It's gorgeous. And it's And I Thought Divorce Was Bad with Other Life Lessons. And I Thought Being Grown Up Was Easy. And I Thought I Could Juggle It All. And I Thought I Could Juggle It All is only available for pre-order, you guys. So Thank you in advance for pre-ordering our book. And they are all available on Amazon.com, BarnesandNoble.com. And if you want a personalized copy, please come to andwethought.com, which is our website. So you fill out the contact us form, and we will personally send you out a book with your name and a nice inscription in it.
Yep. Make sure it's all nice and cute for you. Yay!
And just remember that wisdom is all around you guys.
Hold up.
Oh.
We're not closing yet. But we also have And I Thought He Was the One, and that comes out in October, and that is the story of women as they go through relationships, be it heartbreak, be it marriage. We have the person who was left at the altar 3 times, and she got over it. And then we have the person who just up and left her family and friends and followed love to Georgia. And we're going to read about her story as well. And you can always contact your ladies, that would be us and any of the other 9, at ladies@andwethought.com. Okay, so now I can finish my statement. Wisdom is all around you guys. Just remember that. If you're open to finding it and accepting it. I got that right again. Yes. So peace and love, you guys, from Winona
and Jade.
Bye-bye.